Hello, how are you? Okay, today we have some yoga for the holiday season because this practice was inspired with this idea of unwrapping because what we're doing today. So go ahead and come over to the mat and just lay down. So we want to come onto the mat so that and lay down so we can allow the spine to decompress a little bit here. So we're going to begin this way. So feeling earth below and giving your weight downward. And you can kind of choose a position for the arms. So having the arms a little bit of a distance away from the body and the palms facing up. And then maybe giving a little rock to the pelvis to just kind of feel into how the low back feels. And maybe a little nod of the head. And then at some point, might even rock the head a little bit side to side. Letting everything be heavy, 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 heavy. And then at some point, just releasing. So like the back of the head can make really great contact below. And you can just see how much you can release the holding in the body, right? Beginning our way towards releasing the tension. And if the tension doesn't want to release right away, that's not a problem. We get to have our time here on the mat. So, yeah, unwrapping, right? A lot of times we come to yoga with this idea of wanting to kind of like fix or change. And yoga decidedly is not about fixing or changing. Yoga is about releasing all the things that get in our way from experiencing our whole self, right? All the ways we kind of fragment and disconnect. So I'm going to ask you to just take these moments in the beginning of practice to arrive. And when I say arrive, I want you to just kind of consider what that means for you embodied. What does it mean to arrive into this moment? No correct answer. Not looking for an answer, but just to consider. Consider as we play with the intelligence of the system of the body, the mind, the spirit, and how everything works together. Go ahead and start to just windshield wiper the knees gently side to side, like you're massaging whatever is rolling right now, right? Hips, back of the pelvis, maybe some low back. You could let the head be still. You could let the head go in the direction of the knees if that feels kind of natural to you. If you want to go with the head in the other direction from the knees, you could try that too. But just like this kind of easy movement. So this practice of arriving, this practice of kind of coming into our whole self, right? And we're going to use this next half hour to just see where we can get with that. And so I want us to think about like we're like a Christmas present, or we're a Hanukkah present, or we're a winter solstice present that we're unwrapping. Right? We're unwrapping our whole self. And that might be the greatest gift, right, that we we can give ourselves. So to unwrap, right? We do it in yoga asana, in the posture practice through movement. So we're going to move a little bit. So we'll pull the knees into the chest and give a little hug. And you could continue the rocking. This practice is not about taking posture so much as it is about exploring ourselves in movement. So we're just going to play with kind of getting into rhythm and getting into this kind of meditative movement to arrive, right? To unwrap the whole self. You could take the hands, one knee into each hand, and take these big circles. Yeah, no right way to do it. So if the way that I'm doing it, if you want to do it differently, really it's just fluidity, right? Adding a fluid nature and circulation into the body. And then from there, we'll bring feet back down to the ground. Let's rock over onto a side. We'll use our hands and we'll come up onto all fours. And once we get onto all fours, we're actually going to come down onto the elbows here. So the hips are high, but the elbows are down. We're going to start to shift the hips back, the head down, and then we're going to roll back forward. So it's just this kind of movement forward and back here. Just feeling into the shoulders, maybe a little bit of the hips. So if you were coming to this action, right, really arriving into the action, what do you notice when you're taking this action? And when you're noticing, that help you to be here, right, with your whole self. And then let yourself slide back into child's pose. Let the hands have a little traction. The arms have a little traction as you roll back. You can bring forehead down to the ground. You might find stillness here. That might be nice. You might rock a little bit side to side. Sometimes I'll have my head lifted just because I think my clothes rub on the earbuds that I'm using for a microphone. So if you see my head lifted sometimes or in a funny position, it's just because I'm avoiding my sleeves. Yeah, and then let's go ahead and come forward, and we'll release the hips low, the belly down, and we'll come all the way down. Forehead to the mat, forehead on the hands or the forearms, and then we're wiggling the hips a little bit side to side. And when you wiggle the hips a little side to side, you might gently kind of pull up one knee and then the other. So this is just working kind of connective tissue and fascial lines in the body, right? In this kind of way that, right? One of the ways to unwrap, right? And come full into the moment, come our whole self into the moment, oftentimes takes relaxing, right? It takes this kind of undoing. And so these movements can be real relaxing. Go ahead and take the hands out. The palms can be on the ground, the forehead on the mat or the ground. And then push into the hands, kind of hug one knee up and a little bit look over towards one of the hands. And then rock over to the other side, push into the hand, look over that way. Yeah, so this gives you the opportunity with the hands in this position to get a little bit more into the shoulders here. Let yourself breathe deep if the body wants that. Yeah. And then hands back a little closer in. And let's push up into cobra. So it could be high, it could be low. And we're going to look over towards the right hand, and like you're drawing your nose down towards the right hand, only then you're going to push back up and out and rainbow the nose up towards the sky. And then we'll go up and over to the other side. So you're like rainbowing the nose a little bit back and forth here. Yeah. And then let's go ahead and come back down and press back into child's pose, arms long overhead, or hands one on top of the other. This is one of my favorite ways to practice child's pose. Forehead to the hands. And come back forward, and we're going to step. Step the left foot forward between the hands, and the hands can be down on blocks or the ground. And let yourself shift forward and a little bit back. So just this gentle rocking movement in the pelvis by bringing the hips forward and back. And you want to kind of think about both sides of the pelvis moving forward and back. Like they're both, the right side and the left side is facing forward. So sometimes we get a little bit turned sideways, so we can use this action to kind of find the balance between the pelvis. And then we're going to gather our strength, pull the fingers back, take the hands up through the center line and to the forehead. So the thumbs come to the forehead. And we continue with that little rock forward and back. So it's like you're coming a little bit in and a little bit out. And then as you come forward with the hips, and this could be a real small action, the hands will lift a little bit higher and the gaze might come up a little bit higher. And then we'll pull back down to the forehead. And again, lifting and pulling back down and lifting. And maybe one or two more like that. And then we'll draw the hands again down the center line, down to the ground. And we'll take the foot a little bit wide here and let the hips settle back down. Ground through the left hand and sweep the, mirroring. Ground down through the right hand. I'm not sure what I said, but ground down through the right hand and then reach the left arm forward, up and around. Take the hand to the back of the head. And then we're just going to curl down, like the elbows might come. You could even play with it coming down towards the ground. And then reaching back high. And a couple like that. Coming low and high. And once more low and high. Yeah. And then let's go ahead and release. Shift the hips back one last time. Maybe come up on the fingertips. Maybe work that front leg towards straight. And then we'll take that foot back. Take the knees wide here and see if it's okay to sit back on the ankles. And if this position isn't okay, you can sit up on a block, right? And as you inhale, we're going to lift the heart. Keep the chin tucked down towards the chin, down towards the chest, but reach the shoulder heads back, lean back. And then press the hands forward, pull the belly button back, pull the chin down towards the chest. So we're coming through like a cat-cow, right? With the hands pulling back, the elbows pulling back, the chin connected to the chest even as you reach back. And once more, maybe walk the hands back forward. This time we're going to step right foot through between the hands and shift the hips forward. Again, hands could be on blocks here. Give that little rock forward and back. So we want this rock to not be at capacity. Really, the lovely thing with yoga is nothing has to be, unless you're enjoying it. There's so much that comes from unwrapping our whole self into the moment, right into what we're doing through joy, through pleasure. That's part of, I think, the medicine for us Westerners in particular, right? Is allowing the joy. We get so focused on accomplishing and doing and making everything happen. This could just be a special time, right? Just what would it be like to allow all parts of myself? Go ahead and gather up the strength, pull it up the front of the body, and take thumbs to the forehead. And have a little lift and lower still in the pelvis. And then you might stay here with the hands on the forehead and a focused balancing. Or when you come lower with the pelvis, when you come forward, the hands might lift a little and then retract back down. There we go. And then pull the hands all the way down the center so that you can bring hands back down to the ground. Only this time, we'll take the hands to the inside of the right foot and let the hips perhaps shift forward. Really ground down through the left hand. You might even take it a little bit wider to give you more space between the left hand and the right foot. And then the right hand sweeps forward, up and around, and comes to the back of the head. Right? You have this opportunity to lean back, right? Turn through the spine, look up towards the sky. And then we get to play with those movements. So the right elbow can come down on the inside of the right leg, down towards the ground. And then as you inhale, turn the heart up, reach up, lift up, inhaling. Just move through, right? You can tell this practice is a lot about kind of moving. Yeah. And then you can release the hands down, come onto blocks or the fingertips so that you can just allow that right leg to kind of work towards straight. And then we'll come back forward so that we can release the right foot back behind. Once again, we're going to take the knees wide. Inhale, reach the heart back any amount, pull the elbows back. And then as you exhale, press the hands forward, round in. And then keeping the knees wide, let's come forward and we'll just crawl forward onto our bellies and the feet can lift. And you can come again with the head down onto the hands. You could take the knees a little bit wider here if that feels suitable in your body, and the soles of the feet together. And you can, different positions will feel different with the feet, so the feet could come towards the ground, or they can lift a little higher. And then we're going to release the feet and just allow them to come in these big circles. So if you go circles to one, in one direction, you can kind of explore the fullness of the movement. Let this movement travel up the spine if it does. Let your feet go in the opposite direction. And then release the right arm long and let yourself roll over onto the right side as you lift the left knee a little higher. You can take the left hand to the back of the head and release the right arm about shoulder height. And then if it feels good to lengthen the right leg, you could here. Let's come back the other way. So pulling the left foot in, taking both arms long overhead, rolling onto the belly, over to the other side. So the right knee will track up a little higher. I like the right hand to the back of the head and the left arm a little lower. And then once I come into the twist, I might lengthen the right knee, extend the right leg. And just taking a few full breaths. And then rolling back onto the belly. Finding as much purchase as you can on the ground, pressing hands and feet down. And then let's come onto the back so you can just roll right over. We'll come again with the knees bent, the soles of the feet on the floor. Let the arms come overhead. And once they come overhead, let the elbows have a good, generous bend. So they're like as bent as they need to be. And as you inhale, you're going to lift the hips and reach through the arms. And as you exhale, the hips can come down and the elbows can kind of drag down the floor, down the mat. And we just move between that. So when you reach and lift the hips, that's like a big yawn, a big inhale. You just let it expand into the body the way that it does. And as you release, it's kind of a natural release. And just like twice more like that, where when you reach, big yawn. And when you release, you don't go all the way down with the hips, right? So the bottom half of the body stays a little active. And one more time, reaching. And lowering. This time we'll lower all the way down and like snow angel the arms. One more time, my favorite. Windshield wiping the knees a little side to side. Letting the floor guide. And then we release the legs long for just a brief shavasana here. And in your shavasana, consider the hum of the body or the life force and having some connection into life force, right? And all I mean by that is just that there's a sense of the body alive. And that if we can use this practice to give our attention to the sense of being alive, that practice continues to evolve into something that can be quite profound, right? Having this real solid foundation and connection to the self, right? And that, right, then we can bring our full self to the things that we do. We can bring our full self to unwrapping presence. We can bring our full self into relationship. We can bring our full selves to our daily life. And from that place, there's so much potential. There's so much ability to live free and full. Yeah. And then we'll bend the knees, bring the feet to the floor. Go ahead and rock over onto a side. Use the hands, roll up to sitting. And bring one hand to the heart, one hand to the belly. Our gesture of listening, as if there's something inside, right, most valuable. And this whole practice is just guided, right? Us to have some attention, some time, right, to nurture that inner space. So we have, right, presence, not presence, presence to give, right? Our presence. We'll end with that. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Om Shanti, Om Peace. Namaste.